Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you a preview for the Manchester United Sheffield United game, Wednesday 6 o'clock kickoff. And a bit later on in the video I am going to be giving you my predictions for the game, so I'm going to give you my score prediction and I am going to give you my starting 11 prediction as well. We know this game on Wednesday against Sheffield United is a must-win game for Manchester United, to keep our top four ambitions alive. As it stands now, we are sitting 5 points behind Chelsea because Chelsea, did beat Aston Villa by 2-1 yesterday. But I'm actually, very, very confident, that we can beat Sheffield United on Wednesday because since the season resumed, Sheffield United, haven't done so good. They did lose 3-0 to Newcastle yesterday, surprisingly. Sheffield United, of course, went down to 10 men. I think they got John Egan sent off. Obviously, they drew with Aston Villa as well. Sheffield United will feel as though from their perspective, that they did get robbed in that game. So they haven't had a good start, since the season resumed. The reverse fixture between Sheffield United and Manchester United, of course, was 3-3 earlier on in the season at Bramall Lane. Don't forget, we was 2-0 down in that game, but we showed good determination, to come back into the game. We scored like 3 times in 7 minutes. But we did, concede late on, so the game, did end 3-3. As it stands at the moment, we are 2 points ahead of Sheffield United. We are 2 points ahead of them. I think we have beaten Sheffield United on 44 occasions. This has been Sheffield United's first season in the Premier League, since the 2006-7 season. And I've got to make an admission, like I've said before, I think Sheffield United have enjoyed an exceptional season in the Premier League because no one expected them to be in the position that they're in. So they've definitely, exceeded their expectations. I think Chris Wilder, is a very, very good manager for Sheffield United. He has progressed them from League One, to 7th in the Premier League. I think Sheffield United is the 5th club in Chris Wilder's managerial career because before he was at Sheffield United, I think he was at the likes of Northampton, Oxford, Halifax and Alfred Town. I think this has been now Chris Wilder's 4th season with Sheffield United. So yeah, like I said, for this game, Sheffield United are going to have John Egan suspended. I think Jack O'Connell is a doubt for them as well. I don't think Dean Ensign will be involved in the game. Sheffield United have got some pretty decent players. They have got McBurney, they've got John Fleck, they've got Norwood. Obviously, they've got Billy Sharp, they've got Jack Wadwell. They have got the likes of Phil Jagielka and all of that of Sheffield United. I don't think, Sheffield United are going to get into the top 4 anyway. So yeah. It's going to be interesting to, see how Manchester United line up in this game against Sheffield United. I presume that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to make changes from our 1-1 draw with Tottenham on Friday. He probably won't make several changes, he could make, just a few changes, could Solskjaer and all of that. I think, we've got Phil Jones and Alex Tuanzebe injured. But, they could be available for this game on Wednesday. Jones and Tuanzebe missed the 1-1 draw with Tottenham. It also said that Victor Lindelof limped off towards the end of the game against Tottenham as well. So, he may not be involved in this game against Sheffield United. We'll know more in a bit, we'll know more building up to the game, when more team news updates. I presume Solskjaer, will be doing his press conference later on today, or it will be tomorrow, probably more likely tomorrow and that. But, we've got 8 games remaining now. And like I said, we've got the easiest running out of all the Premier League teams. So, like I've said, in reality, we should win at least 6 of our 8 remaining games. We should win at least 6 of our 8 remaining games. But I think, we've probably now got to win every game, to keep our top four ambitions alive. If we do beat Sheffield United on Wednesday, that will extend our unbeaten run to 13 games in all competitions, because as it stands at the moment, we are unbeaten in our last 12 games in all competitions, and that is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. Don't forget as well, after Sheffield United, we have got Norwich in the FA Cup. Like I said to you, the FA Cup is a priority for us. Also, to the Europa League is a priority for us, because that's a chance for, getting some silverware on the board under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And like I said before, if we can win the FA Cup in the Europa League, and of course, if we can get that top four, it will be a fantastic achievement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United, if we could do that. But, top four is still on for us, so I'm not going to fully disregard it. We need top four because, we do want qualification for the Champions League for next season. And obviously, that will help us attract players to the elite level, plus will generate money. But it all depends on Manchester City's 2-year European ban, because if they do get it upheld, then, 5th place is a Champions League spot. Now, like I said to we drew our previous game against Tottenham 1-1. You saw my match reaction, after the game on a Friday night. I thought we was unlucky in that game because I actually, thought we dominated the game against Tottenham. Some people said, wasn't so good in the first half, but, there was a lot of improvements in the second half. You can say, it was Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba that salvaged us that point against Tottenham. But there you go. I think a draw, it wasn't a great result, but obviously, it wasn't the worst result. I think even if we'd have lost to Tottenham, we would have still been in that top four race. But yeah. So now let's get on with this, predictions for this game against Sheffield United. So we will start with my score prediction. I think this is going to end 3-0 to Manchester United, because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get it spot on in this game against Sheffield United. I think against Tottenham, he tactically got some things right and he tactically, got some things wrong. That's what I think anyway. So now, anyway, let's get on with his starting 11 prediction for this game against Sheffield United. So, I think he's going to go with David De Gea in goal. Obviously, there's a lot of Manchester United fans saying that David De Gea now needs to be dropped. Don't forget, David De Gea was accountable for Steven Bergwijn's goal in the game against Tottenham on Friday. So too was Harry Maguire, and so too was Luke Shaw. They were all accountable, because Harry Maguire should have defended it, and, Luke Shaw really, shouldn't have headed it on. Don't forget, Roy Keane criticised David De Gea and Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. He said basically, De Gea and Harry Maguire should get the taxi back to Manchester. He said that David De Gea is an overrated goalkeeper, and he said he's sick to death of David De Gea. Solskjaer had responded to Roy Keane's criticism, and he's basically, defended David De Gea. But like I said to David De Gea has been a liability in the last couple of years, reflecting on, the amount of mistakes he has made at Manchester United. But overall, he is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Reflecting on what he's achieved in that. David De Gea has won the club's Player of the Year 4 times out of the past 6 years. He's won everything domestically at Manchester United. And David De Gea is now into his 9th season at the football club. He has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. We paid £17 million for him from Atletico Madrid. So David De Gea is now approaching his 10th year at Manchester United. And like I said recently, his transfer is inevitable. If we do sell him, I don't think we'll sell him in this summer transfer window. I think, we'll sell him sometime next year. Don't forget, David De Gea is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and is the highest paid at the football club, because he is on £375,000 a week. He signed a new long-term contract last year. You know, David De Gea, by the way, has nearly made 400 appearances for us in all competitions. I think he's made over 100 odd clean sheets in all competitions. But I said, if David De Gea leaves Manchester United, he will go back to Spain because he began his footballing career in Spain. He also was close to joining Real Madrid in 2015, but due to fax machine, the deal never materialised. The fax machine, I think, occurred on deadline day back in 2015. But like I said, analysing it, I think David De Gea has had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, and he is now in his late 20s. But I think, he will be starting against Sheffield United, because he is going to remain our number one goalkeeper for the remainder of the season. But, Solskjaer's got a goalkeeping decision to make, between David De Gea and Dean Henderson. Because obviously, there has been reports coming out saying that Man United are considering making Dean Henderson as the number one goalkeeper for next season. Solskjaer did say that he expects Dean Henderson to be England's number one and Manchester United's number one goalkeeper for the future. Because Dean Henderson has been a revelation with Sheffield United. He has been a revelation. He's been Sheffield United's player of the season. This has been Dean Henderson's second season on loan with Sheffield United. He's had quite a few loan spells. He had one at Grimsby, Stockport and Shrewsbury as well. I think he also used to play for Carlisle. Dean Henderson still got a contract with us until 2022. We won't get rid of him permanently because we see him as a long-term replacement for David De Gea and all of that. But also too, Gary Neville's, revert back to what I said about De Gea, Gary Neville's recently been talking about it, and he said that David De Gea's form is not just a blip. Neville believes, it's more serious than that. Obviously, if we had a keeper that, that could be reliable to become our number one for the remainder of the season, and I think, De Gea would be dropped now. But obviously, Romero, he's not reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. He's not reliable enough. Romero tends to play in the cup games. Obviously, got Lee Grant, who has hardly played since he come in. And we've also got, Joe Pereira, but, he's out on loan with Hearts. So, yeah, David De Gea will start against Sheffield United. And Wan-Bissaka at right back. He'll keep his place at right back because obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. I don't think he was too bad against Tottenham, like I said. He was a bit loose in possession. Some of his decision making, that was very, very poor. But going forward, wasn't too good either. But defensively, he was okay against Tottenham. So he'll be playing at right back. I think it will be Bay alongside Harry Maguire. Because I did say, in this game, Solskjaer, will drop some players, that started in the game against Tottenham on Friday. And I think one of those will be Lindelof. But Lindelof, may be injured anyway. I don't think Lindelof was too good against Tottenham, struggled at times, got caught out far too many times, when Tottenham were counter-attacking. So I think, Lindelof, probably will be dropped. Lindelof, of course, this has been his third season with Manchester United. Like I said, in his first season, he struggled for that consistency, did Lindelof. But I think last season and for the vast majority of this season, a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved. But our first choice centre halves have obviously been Lindelof and Harry Maguire. But I think Bay's coming in for Lindelof in this game. Bay is a very, very good centre-half. This has now been Bay's 4th season with Manchester United. Of course, we did get him from Villarreal back in 2016. Of course, we did pay £30 million for Eric Bay. My only element of concern about Eric Bay, is that he is injury-prone. That is my only element of concern about him. But some United fans have now said anyway, we should put Bay there ahead of Lindelof, and Lindelof, should be used as the backup. Harry Maguire, like I said, I think he's enjoyed an exceptional season at Manchester United. In the vast majority of his games, he has done really, really well as Harry Maguire. Obviously, he wasn't too good against Tottenham. Don't forget, we paid £80 million for him last summer from Leicester. Second most expensive sign at the club, just behind Paul Pogba, and the most expensive centre-half in the world. is Maguire. Don't forget, we did give him the captaincy, reflecting on Ashley Young's departure. Some people think, the captaincy needs to go to someone else. Should we consider giving like Paul Pogba the captaincy? I think at left back, Luke Shaw, he will start at left back. I think for the remainder of this season, Luke Shaw is going to remain our first choice left back. But there's, Solskjaer's got a decision to make at left back, because actually, next season he could decide to put Brandon Williams as our first choice left back, because I think Brandon Williams has enjoyed an exceptional season. This has been his first season in the senior squad. Williams actually scored his professional goal in the reverse fixture against Sheffield United. I think, if I'm right, that's the only professional goal he has scored. Yeah, but I think for the remainder of this season, Luke Shaw will keep his place at left back. This has been Luke Shaw's 6th season now with Manchester United. We did pay, was it around £30 million for him from Southampton. And my only element of concern really about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. But prior to that, very, very good left back. But there again, if we go with 3 at the back against Sheffield United or whatever, then we can, play Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams in our starting 11. You can put Luke Shaw as a centre-half, because Luke Shaw's operated as centre-half quite a few times. And of course, you can put Brandon Williams as the wing-back. I think in the midfield, he's going to go with Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. Paul Pogba, will definitely start this game against Sheffield United. Of course, he didn't start the game against Tottenham. I don't know why he didn't start the game against Tottenham. I don't know why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't start Paul Pogba, against Tottenham. But when he came off against Tottenham, he did make a big impact. Obviously, Pogba was the one that got us the penalty towards the end. And I think Paul Pogba, can finish the season on a high for Manchester United. Solskjaer did say that he does want to see leadership from him. Solskjaer did say that he does want to see leadership from Paul Pogba. And, like I said to you yesterday, can Paul Pogba make Manchester United a force again? When he came on against Tottenham, that was his first appearance for Manchester United in 176 days. And it was the first time, he played since the 4-1 win against Newcastle on Boxing Day and that. So Paul Pogba will start, and I think, Fred will be dropped. Fred, wasn't too bad actually, against Tottenham on Friday. I thought he kept the possession well, he gained possession as well quite a few times as well. But I don't think, he will start the game against Sheffield United. Like I said, Pogba will be playing alongside McTominay. Some people will say actually, Matic will start on Wednesday against Sheffield United. But I think, it will be McTominay. Then in number 10, obviously, Bruno Fernandes. Like I said, Bruno Fernandes scored in the game against Tottenham on Friday. He scored from the penalty spot. Also, too, he got brought down. I can't remember who it was from. Was it from Eric Dyer? We'd been actually, given another penalty, but, the decision had been overturned by VAR. Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. 4 goals and 4 assists now for him. Like I said, Bruno Fernandes is very, very effective in that number 10 position. And that's obviously, his predominant position. I definitely think Bruno Fernandes is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Don't forget, I think nearly in every Premier League match, every Premier League match he has been given man of the match. He won Premier League Player of the Month for February, reflecting on his good run of performances, Bruno Fernandes, which is very, very good. And yeah, he's made the difference in the team. And I think the sign of Bruno Fernandes has definitely saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job at Man United. We got him in a deal with £65 million with add-ons included. And he did sign a 5.5-year deal. But like I said, Bruno Fernandes is key to Pogba's future. And, we got a glimpse of Paul Pogba playing alongside Bruno Fernandes, in the last half an hour of the game against Tottenham on Friday. So that's obviously, very, very good. But that is definitely the best midfield partnership in the Premier League. But, some people have their own verdicts on our first choice midfield trio. You know, some people think our best midfield trio is Pogba, Fernandes, and McTominay, like mine. Some people's are Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, and Fred, and some people's are Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, and Matic. I said, you know, Matic will now drop. He'll drop more to the bench. Will Matic? He'll still get his chances in that because he was impressive. You know, before the football season got suspended. You know, was Nemanja Matic. So let's just put that into the equation. So yeah, Fernandes in the number 10. I think we'll put Mason Greenwood on the right. I think he'll start this game against Sheffield United on Wednesday. I think Daniel James will be dropped because, you know, he wasn't too good, Daniel James, in the game on Friday against Tottenham. Greenwood, you know, needs to get some starts because he's hardly started, you know, this season as Greenwood. You know, the vast majority of his appearances, you know, have come from that substitutes bench. I think Greenwood's enjoyed an exceptional season. You know, Greenwood's got 12 or 13 goals in all competitions this season for Man United. Yeah, this has been his first season in the senior squad. So yeah, a lot of United fans will put Greenwood on the right and, you know, drop Daniel James. Because, of course, for the vast majority of this season, Daniel James has been playing on that right-hand side, you know, even though he's more effective from that left-hand side. But obviously, you know, we usually put Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side. So we'll put Rashford on the left-hand side. Some people say put Rashford centrally because some people actually, you know, prefer Marcus Rashford centrally. But I think he's actually, you know, more effective out wide is, you know, Marcus Rashford. You know, Rashford, you know, had a good game against Tottenham. You know, he was unlucky not to get his name on the score sheet. You know, I think he had two great chances. Obviously, you know, was denied by Hugo Lloris. He had that clear-cut chance, don't forget, in the first half. You know, Rashford is definitely, you know, the foreseeable future for Manchester United. You know, Rashford's been a United player since the age of 7. You know, he's been in our senior squad, you know, since, 2016. And since then, you know, has become an integral part of our team as Rashford. Don't forget, you know, Rashford, you know, recently made the government not scrap free school meals. And, you know, Rashford, you know, was credited for this. And like I said, free school meals now have been extended for another 6 weeks. And, you know, Rashford has raised around £20 million for charity. So he has changed kids' lives. So you have got to credit him for that. So yeah, he'll be playing on the left. And I think probably, you know, Martial will play centrally because Martial, you know, has been playing centrally this season. Some United fans would actually, you know, drop Anthony Martial. Because some United fans don't think he's an automatic starter, and some United fans would actually, you know, drop Martial and put Odin Ighalo there instead. But I did say Odin Ighalo's starts now will be limited at the football club because obviously, you know, now Marcus Rashford is back. Don't forget the other week it had confirmed that we extended Odin Ighalo's loan for, you know, until the end of January 2021. So Ighalo's going to be with us for a further 7 months. You know, he's going to be with us in that. We have no obligation to buy Ighalo, or there is no option to buy him. So after his loan spell, I think he will go back to Shanghai Shenhua. But yeah, Martial will be playing centrally, I think. You know, Martial now, this has been his 5th season at Manchester United. I think he's done well under Solskjaer this season, to be fair. Weren't great on Friday against Tottenham. You know, he did have, you know, a few chances, did Anthony Martial. But as you all know, Martial predominantly plays out wide because in the 4 previous seasons prior to this one, he has, you know, been playing out wide as Anthony Martial. I think one of the best seasons Anthony Martial enjoyed was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We did get him as a 19-year-old. We paid around, was it £36 million for Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements and all of that. So yeah, so that's how I think, you know, Manchester United, you know, are going to line up against Sheffield United. You know, so I think we're probably going to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. But, you know, Solskjaer, you know, has been changing formation persistently this season. You know, he has been going with the 4-2-3-1 a lot. A few times, you know, he has gone with a 4-3-3 formation. A few times, you know, he has gone with 3 at the back. From my own perception, you know, we look more expansive with 3 at the back. A few times he's gone, you know, with the 5-3-2. I think he went with a 5-3-2 against the likes of Chelsea and Manchester City and all of that. But it will be interesting to see how Solskjaer approaches this game against Sheffield United and all of that. But just wait a second. But yeah, that's really it. And your press conference reaction will be coming up, of course, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done his press conference. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done his press conference. Now, so that's the latest on all of that. You know the transfer news, don't you? There is a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda. So obviously, you know the news on Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund have now named their asking price. Dortmund have said, they want £90 million for Jadon Sancho. And this is stemming from Christian Falk, the German football expert. He says Dortmund want £90 million. It was totally contrast to what was coming out not too long ago, because it said Dortmund want around £150 million for Jadon Sancho. £115 million for Jadon Sancho. But reportedly, his head is already with Manchester United because Jadon Sancho was benched in Borussia Dortmund's 2-0 win against RB Leipzig. Now, Borussia Dortmund said, they are confident they can keep Jadon Sancho for next year, but Jadon Sancho's already said he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. Now, don't forget, Fabrizio Romano came out earlier on this week. It was last week. He was an Italian journalist and quite reliable, and he said that, Sancho will accept an offer from Man United, but Man United have not yet put a bid in for Sancho. He said the contract's not a problem and all of that. It's been the asking price, that's been the stumbling block of Jadon Sancho, of course, coming to Manchester United. You had Lucien Favre last week, the Borussia Dortmund boss, and he admitted, saying that, Sancho could still leave Dortmund in the summer transfer window. Borussia Dortmund's head of football did say that they expect Jadon Sancho to stay at Dortmund for another year at least. But, Jadon Sancho is our number one priority target. And there were stories coming out the other week saying that he is willing to make a return to Manchester City, as we are struggling to pay Borussia Dortmund's asking price. But £90 million, that could be tempting for us. Could £90 million. You know the news on Anthony Fati Vieira. I give you the news on him yesterday. He's no interest in coming to Manchester United or leaving Barcelona in general. We'll have to pay £350 million to get Anthony Fati Vieira. He's been one of our alternatives to Jadon Sancho. I give you the news on Richie Arlington yesterday as well. He revealed that he received offers from Man United and Barcelona this season, but has revealed why he turned them down. You already know the news on Alexis Sanchez as well. And you also know the news on Jack Grealish. He's another one of our priority targets as well. But it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches the summer transfer window. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fourth transfer window as Manchester United manager. And, Solskjaer's been at Man United now over a year and a half. And I think he's been permanent Manchester United manager for a good 16 months. I was hearing stories the other week saying that we're going to get around £270 million to spend in the summer transfer window. If that is the case, that should be enough for us, to get the right, number of players in. Of course, Solskjaer's already said, he wants to make around 3 or 4 major signings at the end of the season. And he's already identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. But I think, we can be competitive in the summer transfer market. I really, really do. Got to make an admission regarding Chelsea. They've done very, very good business so far of Chelsea. Obviously, they got Hakim Ziyech in February from Ajax for around 38 million, or was it 37 million? They recently got Timo Werner. They're looking to get Kai Havertz. They're also looking to get Ben Chilwell, who I think's their number one target. So, Chelsea have done very, very good business. So that's one admission, I have got to make. But we've got to be competitive in the summer transfer market. So we do want to catch up with the likes of City and Liverpool, because they're strides ahead of us at the moment. I did say, didn't I, our expectations next season, will be to challenge for the title. And Solskjaer knows that we need signs, to be challenged for the title next season. Because don't forget, this has been the 7th season now we have failed to mount any kind of title challenge up. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. So it just indicates how inconsistent we have been in the last 7 years. In the last 7 years, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Of course, we spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've recruited over 30 odd players in, by the way, since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we haven't only spent big on players. We've also got players on, big contracts at the football club. Solskjaer's our 4th manager since the Ferguson era, because we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, and of course Jose Mourinho. In the last 7 years, we've lacked silverware as well. We've only won the FA Cup. We've only won 3 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal, and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho, and all of that. We have made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so. That's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. Like I said to you now, I've been very, very critical of Solskjaer for the vast majority of this season, but there's obviously been explanations why me and a lot of Man United fans have been very, very critical of him. But we've also been critical of Ed Woodward and the Glazers, not only for this season, for several years we've been very, very critical of Ed Woodward and the Glazers. I was critical of a lot of players as well earlier on in the season. So there you go and all of that. But like I said, Solskjaer needs at least another season at Manchester United, because it is a transition period, and it's been a transition period for quite some time. Even if we don't finish in the top 4 and we don't get qualification for the Champions League, I still think Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season. I really, really do. But I made the admission, didn't I? I said I've seen improvements under Solskjaer. Players have improved under him. We've improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer as well. So that is a good thing. Obviously, he's got big decisions to make in the summer transfer window of what players he's going to recommend in, and of course what players he's going to get rid of as well. I think we're going to get rid of at least 5 players in the summer transfer window, so we are going to generate money that way. I've already gone through with you I think the players that are going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window, because quite frankly, there's still deadwood in the squad. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.